Good morning, everybody. It is day 8 of the daily vlog. Every day of May we're doing a video, if you didn't know already. I have a lot of energy, but actually I'm really hungry. Why? Because today we are doing Ramadan for the first time in our lives. Okay, but why? Why Ramadan? I personally come from a Christian background, but I grew up in Lebanon, a country with 60% of its population being Muslim. In Lebanon, we all live in our own bubbles of social classes, ethnicities, and religions. And I never got to experience how other communities live. For example, I have a lot of Muslim friends. I see mosques and Islamic symbols every day, and yet I never got to experience the cultural aspects of Islam or try to understand the faith, values, and ideology behind it. And what better way to do this than partaking in Ramadan for one day? In case you didn't know, Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar. It's a month of prayer, reflection, community, and fasting. So we will be fasting for the whole day from dawn to sunset and finish off with an epic iftar with some friends of mine. So that means the day starts very early. We're eating and drinking for the last time today until sunset. We just woke up for the suhoor right before the first prayer. Get ready for the day. You eat and drink, and you don't eat until the maghrib, when the sun sets. Okay, so now we're woken up, ready to seize the day. And we're not only doing Ramadan today and fasting, we're also going to visit a neighborhood called Khandak El Ghami. Khandak is a neighborhood in Beirut with a Muslim majority. Instead of staying home and simply describing how fasting feels hour for hour, we want to educate ourselves about Islam and its culture by witnessing the daily reality of Khandak's inhabitants. All day, we will be hearing their stories, seeing how they're coping with the current crisis in Lebanon, and most importantly, asking them to share their thoughts and personal experiences fasting for Ramadan. And what better way to spend the day exploring than with our favorite Portuguese friend, João.
Oh, legend! We're going to Khandak El Hamik, and the idea is that we go and visit old houses, visit some of the older residents. Most Lebanese people I know wouldn't come to Khandak El Hamik. It has a bit of a reputation about safety issues.
It's really interesting, the contrast. It's like brand new buildings, they're working on construction, and it's like all these fancy apartments, and right next to it's like really broken down buildings, torn apart, graffiti everywhere.
So right now we're on the rooftops of Khandak, and this is one of the biggest cemeteries of Beirut actually. We're deep in the narrow streets. It's a really beautiful neighborhood, very underrated one as well, sadly forgotten. And now we're with some volunteers that are donating food and diapers for people in need, because yeah, it's not one of the easiest locations to live in.
It has a bad reputation about the boys that are here, living here, and the drugs or something like that. Are scared to come here. Yeah, people are so scared. And with my foundation, we go deep inside all those poor places that people don't go even.
So I'm with Hassan today. He's 95 years old, one of the eldest residents in Lebanon right now. As soon as we introduced ourselves and we're explaining what we're doing, she was like, oh, come to my place, like you can do the iftar with us. Do you want some coffee? Like, she was so welcoming. 13 kids lived in this room and they were born in this room. It's his kids. Crazy. We sat down and listened to the incredible stories of Hassan's eventful life. But the one that stood out was a poem about the religious conflicts and the hope he still has for Lebanon.
كل واحد وراه طائفته عمل متريس وصار لبناني أوس على لبناني صرت استحي أقول أنا من لبنان عندما فرقوا ما بين علي وعمر والياس وهدموا كل أركان أوطاني بالجلسة بتذكر الله ضرب الأجراس محمد الأمين بقدم من مالة الثاني إن شاء الله بيرجع يجتمع علي وعمر والياس ويعملوا لبنان الأولاني.
I think he kind of embodies and personifies the traditional and the almost mystical Middle Eastern and sense of hospitality and generosity.
Absolutely.
And a wonderful person and very vigorous despite his age. He's extremely energetic.
Incredible.
Very lively, yeah.
We're entering the dark side of Khandak.
Right now we just met the guy with the tattoos, and he was a fighter in Syria. For 5 years he got kidnapped by ISIS. For 5 years he worked for them. He would eat 1 potato a day. That was what they gave him. All of the fighters that were with him, they got decapitated, and they spared him, and he paid his freedom out. He has post-traumatic stress disorder. He got shot in the arm, and now he's raising his 1-year-old daughter and his dogs. I'm sure he's suffering a lot inside, and goes to show the reality of some people living in Beirut. And he's living right next to the cemetery. The explosion happened close to here, and when it happened, the wall of the room of his 1-year-old daughter completely fell off on her bed, but thankfully wasn't on her bed at that time. She was with him in the living room. Even this guy we ran into spoke about the harsh reality he's facing.
وجه كلمة للعالم ارحموا الشعب خذوا الوزراء والنواب اعدموهم اعملوا اللي بدكم اياه ما ترحمونا ارحموا اولادنا لا يعني عندي ولد عمره 4 سنين انا ما عارف شو بدي اعمل فيه كثير صعبة فالحل بإيد الله بعتقد ما بإيد الشعب ولا بإيد حدا.
Deeper in the neighborhood we found a really unique building. It's like an empty building. It used to be filled with immigrants, and now it's empty because of the financial situation. It's really hard to live in Lebanon right now if you're already poor.
You get like this building that was inhabited by hundreds of people, migrants 5 years ago. Now it's practically empty, but you still have a few people living here.
We're in the house of a guy that lives on $3 a day. He's a Syrian refugee. He left Syria and he can't go back to Syria. He's a construction worker at a construction site. He has barely any food. Look, he has breadcrumbs to survive. He told me he's been fasting for the day, and he's trying to stay positive. I mean, speaking to him, he wasn't really desperate. He was just like, that's my situation, I accept it, and I do the best out of what I can do every day. The whole Middle East, and specifically Lebanon, have gone through so much, and it's sadly Muslim neighborhoods in Lebanon that are the ones associated with violence, conflict, and poverty. But the reality is that the average resident is the victim of a broken countrywide system which is way beyond their control. And from what I saw, their way to cope with the harsh realities of life and staying hopeful is through religion and the values tied to their faith and community. Yes, there are tragedies, but also amazing generosity, kindness, and hospitality. And the more we spoke to people, the more we noticed it. We've been seeing so many people on the streets right now. Everyone is so welcoming us in their shops, speaking to us about their own professions. It breaks all the misconceptions of what an average Lebanese person who doesn't live here.
Good vibes. Warab.
The first time I came in to Khandak el-Hami, I didn't even know what it was, and I was just wandering these streets, and I was kind of hungry, and I passed this place, Hassan's place, and he said, yeah, come in, and so he invited me to have a food with him, and he offered me a drink, and when the time came for me to pay, he said, no, we're brothers, you don't pay. But he constantly does this, so there's a lot of controversy about this neighborhood, but there's also a lot of humanity and generosity.
اللي بده يجي ما يحس حاله غريب. هلا نحن تعرفنا عليك، انت هلا اذا اي نهار بدك تجي خلص حتحس بطمأنينة. عندنا شغله اذا خصوصا بلبنان لانه في تعدديه طائفيه، اذا انا بدي لك كيفك بدي اعرف انت منين. انا بيجي اللي بده يجي لعندي ما بيهمني، هيدي كلها لغي. انت بالبيت انت فيك تعمل الطقوس اللي بدك اياها، كن قريب لله كيف ما بدك، كن قريب لله، ما تأذي حدا، حب كل العالم، خلي اللي بده يعلم دين بس ما يعلم كره.
هيدي كلمة لا إله إلا الله أول كلمة، هيدي كلمة ما شاء الله، ثالث كلمة يا رب.
And shortly after, we met up with the awesome Khadija. We met her like a couple of hours ago. She was volunteering for Ajami Foundation, and now she's just with us, and we're continuing to explore. With all the interesting people we were meeting, we had completely forgotten that we were fasting. The fasting is going pretty well for now. I'm a bit hungry. I'm looking forward for the iftar because I think it's going to be really good, and Arabic food is the best. Hello. This place is 150 years old, and they just welcomed us in their house casually.
This happens a lot here in Khandak.
It's so cool. As we were talking to the inhabitants of this house and we told them that we were fasting for the first time, Khadija decided to share a bit about her own experience.
Why I fast? Because it's religion, that's what they ask. And Nabi Muhammad, he used to fast for the whole year.
When I go at Ramadan season to Sur, Saida, Travelers, I see how much life there is, how much community is involved.
The gatherings,
it's so beautiful.
The family.
And I feel stupid to have never lived this before, and I just feel like I lived in a bubble.
This is the best part of the day, when you come home at night and you sit with your family and you have iftar with your family, and then you pray, and then you sit, and then you have some sweets. You're happy when you sit with everyone like this and you spend more time with them on iftar.
I feel that Ramadan, it's like an annual tradition that literally brings people like together. But it's like for the whole month, every night, you're with your family for multiple hours.
Sometimes with your friends. But you know what? My father doesn't like to go out for iftar because he loves to sit with us on the table.
With the family, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. It's 5 p.m. My lips are getting dried. Daily life of doing Ramadan. So now it's 5 p.m. We're heading to your house.
Yeah, we're going to our house. So me and my lovely wife decided to invite Robert the gang to join us for our iftar. It will be their very first iftar ever. High expectations. There's going to be a lot of food, delicious food, actually traditional Lebanese food.
Wow.
And we're going to pass through Dahiya, another notorious neighborhood in Beirut. And we're going to be having iftar at our place, which is in Leilaki.
We just arrived at Joao's place.
I'm bringing my pussies to the hood.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Right now we are preparing the iftar. We got amazing hummus, batata, laban, kibbeh, everything.
We're vegetarian friendly, which means we don't eat vegetarians.
Why do you fast?
First of all, it's for the religious part, of course. It brings you closer to God. You pray, you like detox, you know, of your sins, everything. But it's also detox for the body. It's proven that fasting for a month can detox your body. It can prevent diabetes and a lot of other diseases. And also, it's the time to forgive. You apologize regardless if you did anything, and you ask for forgiveness of people to forgive you. And so when you get out of this month, you feel like you're a brand new person.
Wow,
yeah.
amazing.
Ole! A lot of olive oil. Lemon time, baby.
This year was my first Christmas and I spent it with them. We went together to buy the Christmas decorations. Yeah. And now we went together to buy the Ramadan decoration.
Good evening. We're about to call Adam's friend Amir, who owns the handle Muslim across all social medias.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Amir. I'm the founder and editor-in-chief of Muslim. I started Muslim 2 years ago because there's a lack of representation for Muslims in mainstream media. With our platform, we've been trying to normalize what it is to be a Muslim, and a lot of people are like, what? Muslims are like cool like this. I thought like Muslims have to like wear like head to toe, you know. When we like post like Muslim TikToks, people are like, oh my god, I resonate with this humor. I didn't know like you know I could resonate with like Muslims or have this connection. So we try to like build that bridge and disrupt that stereotypes that are out there. So we kind of became like the central community for especially like young Gen Z millennial Muslims. But also we kind of became like the hub for people to educate themselves on Islam and educate themselves on what's going on in the Muslim community. I would say if you are progressive or you're trying to learn more or outside of like your circle to just like stay in the know, stay educated on people around you or world events, I would suggest following Muslim.
Yeah,
and,
amazing, man. It is 7:20 p.m. The sun has just set officially. We're just waiting for the muezzin to do the prayers.
So there are a few mosques nearby, and so we will be hearing it loud and clear. That's when we can go inside, you know, say Allahu Akbar, and then have a date, some water, and then iftar in full force.
These are the typical Ramadan lanterns. We usually turn them on when it's prayer time or when it's iftar time.
This has been my very first Ramadan ever. It's very intense. I don't think I could have done it alone.
The call to prayer has just started. It's 7:30 p.m. We can now break the fast. So it's a tradition to break the fast by eating a date. So let's do it.
And the person who gives you the dates gets a lot of good deeds.
Can I have a good deed if I give it to myself?
You're self-deeding. Everybody has dates.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Good deeds for me.
And finally, iftar was served. We laid the food out on the floor, sat down around it, and started eating. What a pleasure to taste food again after a whole day of fasting. Aida, Soha's mom, and Hassan, her cousin, explained to us that they fast all day while working, do the iftar after sunset, then go back to work until very late at night. And I found it really admirable to live for a full month like this, at this rhythm. It really shows what we're capable of when there's good intentions and strong beliefs behind our actions. This is one of my favorite juice. It's called jaleb juice. Ra'at jibne. Sitting all here together, I realized why Ramadan is such a beautiful tradition. We were all from different backgrounds, yet united by the shared act of fasting all day long, discussing, feasting, laughing, having a good time. It really is a magical moment. And even though one day of fasting is far from enough from learning everything about Islam, this first experience was enough for me to appreciate its richness. Ultimately, the core of any religion is a place of love. They just have different practices and cultures. And it's for this exact reason that next year, I encourage all non-Muslims to join our Muslim brothers and sisters in fasting, having conversations about their faith, and get invited to an iftar. You won't regret it, I promise you that. We just finished iftar, but not quite because it's shisha time for Soha and Joao. Also, we're gonna taste the Arabic sweets.
Ta-da! And this is the Ramadan Ramadan sweets.
Sugar syrup, that's the way we eat Arabic sweets. Cheers!
Ramadan Kareem.
Ramadan Kareem. This marks the end of our first iftar ever. It was an incredible experience. We got to speak for a long while with Suha and Joao. It was awesome. Thank you so much for welcoming us.
Really happy to have you guys.
Thank you so much, really, and see you very soon. It was an amazing first experience.
You survived iftar. Well done, guys. Alf Mabruk.
So definitely stay tuned, subscribe to our channels, all of us, and we'll see you
tomorrow. Let's do this.